welcome, everyone. Welcome. I can see Color Day. I can see Razak Dada. Welcome. We've been waiting for you. Right. Welcome. We already have Mubarak on the call and he's ready to take us through, you know, this topic on building a data culture in your organization. As we know, data is an important part of any organization. And 2 weeks ago we learned about data literacy 101, what data literacy even means. That was like the foundation. And today we're now learning to say, okay, we know what data literacy is now. So why is it important? Why should we build that culture in our organization? Right. And so that's why we're here. And we have Mubarak Balogun here with us. And he's going to, come to speak very soon. But before we kick off, right, I just want to say a little bit about Techletics, what we do, why we do what we do, and just for everyone on the call to familiarize themselves with Techletics. And then we'll have Mubarak just take the floor and you know just give us everything he has in store for us today for this webinar. So welcome everyone. Please, in the chat box, you can let us know where you're joining from. You can let us know your name and where you're joining from. I'm going to start a poll now. I just want us to have a feel of the class. I want Mubarak to understand, the feel of the class and maybe what we think by data culture, or how we can even rate the data culture in our organization, right? So I'm going to start a poll now, and alongside, you can just let us know where you're joining from and your name in the chat box. So I already started the poll. The poll says, how would you rate your organization's current data culture? So Mubarak, you can be on the lookout for the results. So that would, just also help you, as you speak to us this evening, right? Just for us to have a feel, right? So we have options, non-existent. That means we don't even have at all. Imagine, we're starting, developing, and then excellent. So let's have that feel. Let's see where we are, where everybody on this call, where the organization is, and then to just help Mubarak, explain the concepts in a way that everyone can benefit. So thank you. I'm getting chat. Oh my god, I have the best audience on the call today. Thank you for making this very engaging. Right. Okay. So we have Kolade from Nigeria. Okay. Nice to have you. Nice to have you, Kolade from Nigeria. Nice to have you on the call. So that's the way you're joining from, and you can also take the poll. So let me see the result of our poll. So Mubarak, we have more people saying that their data culture is developing in their organizations. Then we have, the other people mentioned that it's just emerging, but we have more people on the developing side than emerging, which is, I feel it's a good one. But we just have, we didn't have 50%, votes here. So I'm not going to, I can't conclude on that data, right? So we want to have more people take the polls. And Erin from Nigeria, welcome. It's amazing to have you on the call. Yeah, so let's keep on taking the poll. Let's see where we are. Yeah, another person voted Imagine. So Imagine and developing I have 50%, 50%. So I'm excited that it's not even non-existent. And even if it's non-existent, yeah, we're here to just help build up, everybody's data culture and make us understand the importance. Welcome, Razak from Otta, Ogun State. It's a pleasure to have you. Yeah, so while we're still doing that, let me just quickly, tell us what Tactics is about, what we do, and then we're just going to dive into this. So, kindly confirm when you can see my screen, please. Okay, I'm sharing my screen now. Please let me know when you can see my screen. You can just reply with a thumbs up. Mubarak, you can help me speak so that I will know that all right. I will know that my screen is up. So please, is my screen up? Anybody wants to help with that, please? Is my screen up? Let me check. Please let me know when my screen is up. Okay, so I'm going to try sharing again. Okay, I think, thank you, it's up. I saw the thumbs up. Thank you very much. All right, so I'm just going to get into it. going to get into it now. Thank you for the thumbs up and for the confirmation. Thank you so much. All right, so let's go. So welcome to Secret Six. Welcome to Secret Six, where we so 1 minute, please. Let me put this. Thank you. Amazing. This is what I want. So welcome to Secret Six, where we empower Africa's workforce for a digital future. Welcome, welcome, welcome. All right. Okay, so this is an overview of the African continent, and the job shortage gap, and where we are coming into, as tactics to help bridge that gap, right? We've seen that there's a projected 30 million jobs, but they just require digital skills, right? And by 2030, and it's leading to nearly 650 million training opportunities. So we see that there's a lot of opportunities in helping people gain these digital skills that's required for the projected 230 million jobs. And that's why we're here. That's why we're bringing. That's why we're here at 36, right? And Technetics at a glance, one edtech institution, and we're accredited by the CBD certification service in the UK, and we adopt a planned model for our quad-based learning programs, and we also have a practice-driven virtual simulation lab. One thing we're big on here at Technetics is that you don't just learn the theory, you also learn practicals. You need to implement what is being taught, over time, right? Our vision, I'm usually excited when I read this, right? Is to be the leading force in Africa's digital transformation. And I promise you that we're on that journey. We're doing amazingly well. And that's why we're bringing up sessions like this, even free sessions like this, to ensure that, we're doing well in our vision. And then our mission is to drive Africa's growth by providing accessible, accredited digital education in data. And we aim to reskill over 10,000 professionals by 2025. So we're still on the journey with us to see if we're getting to our mission, right? Thank you. Right. So I already spoke about the problem statement, and this is our solution. So our solutions is number one, introduction of our quad-based learning model that drives peer-to-peer engagement, collaboration, and deeper understanding. So you get to work with like-minded people when you come on board in our programs. Even now on this webinar, you're meeting people that have interest in data culture, right? And so you can drive engagement, collaboration. You can speak together, know where to start from, know the things to implement. For people that already have an excellent data culture, you that you're just imagining can come there, and both of you can have collaboration, and you can see how best to do it in your organization. And I spoke about our practice driven virtual lab. Then we also have strategic internship placement for our students that we bring on board, and our AI enabled LMS, where we're big on AI. If it's one thing about statistics, if you check our social media pages, you'll see that we're big on AI, because we know that AI is now, right? And we're big on it. We want to ensure that even our students, when they are brought on board, can also learn. These are notable partnerships, Go 54 and the NSC. Yeah. So the NSC, we just concluded a training for young engineers where we taught them how to use data analytics. And I trust you, it was an amazing training. We saw how they were able to have these digital skills, personally. These are the brands that have trusted us over time and still continue to trust us. A notable clients, the best team in the world. We have Tayo, the founder and lead trainer. Then this is me, the program manager. We have Timothy and we have Child. And this is why we're here today, right? We're here to have a conversation around building a data culture in your organization. If you were here 2 weeks ago, you can just send me a thumbs up. If you're here for the data literacy webinar, please give me a thumbs up. That was an insightful webinar, and that was just to build the foundation. Now we're building more on this foundation. We're talking about data culture in your organization, how to build it. And we have Mubarak Balogun. He's a data governance analyst at Big Boots, and it's an amazing to have you. Thank you for agreeing to do this with us. When I checked your LinkedIn profile, I'm like, this is the best person for the job. So thank you for coming to do this with us. And I know that we're in great hands today, right? Okay, so let's meet our instructor. So I'll just say little, and then he would, by the time he's done talking, then we will see that he has said the rest. Mubarak is a data governance expert with over 4 years of hands-on experience. He helps organizations structure, protect, and maximize the value of their data. His strong academic foundation in data studying computer science for 2 years at Yaba College of Technology and 5 years at the University of Lagos, has deepened his expertise in computing and information systems. Please, can we welcome Mubarak as he takes us in the session this evening? Welcome, Mubarak. Please confirm you can hear me. Hi, Mubarak. Please confirm that you can hear me. Hi, Mubarak. Can you hear me, please? Okay. Hi, Mubarak. Can you hear me, please? Can anyone hear me, please?
Can you hear me?
Amazing, 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 amazing. We can hear you and we can see you. Hi, Mubarak. Okay. Sorry. Sorry. Hi, Mubarak. Okay. I apologize for that. Mubarak is going to join us very soon. Yeah. Hi, Mubarak. Please confirm you can hear me. Mubarak, can you hear me, please?
Yes, I can hear you. I can.
Amazing, 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 amazing. Okay. So yeah, please you have the floor. Thank you so much for doing this with us.
Hear
And
me?
we hope yes, I can hear you clearly. Can you hear me, please?
I can. I can. Sorry
Yeah,
for the network
it's
issues.
fine. It's fine, not a problem at all. Please, you can have the floor. Thank you.
Yeah, welcome everyone. The topic we'll be digesting today will be building a data culture in your organization. But I don't like to refer it to data culture. I like to call it data DNA because we have to handle data as a way of life. That's how I like to put it. So what does a data culture means? It means whereby data is used to drive decisions. Data is being used to make strategies. That is what we call data culture. It empowers making decisions with your data, innovation, and accountability. Now, you made a poll earlier asking what level is your data culture at? Everybody was saying emerging, developing, but I can say that most enterprise organizations should be around emerging or non-existent in this country. And you might ask me why. Why is we tend to handle data not by ethics, but how we feel. So we get to that point moving forward. And yes, data goes beyond tools, people, but data itself is more about the people. That's why I call it data DNA. It should be engraved in people to the extent that even a security operator in your environment should be data driven. Your environment should be data centric. Next slide. What does data culture mean and why does data culture matter? The first thing is reduces risk and improves data compliance. What do I mean by that? We have the NDPC, which is the Nigerian Data Protection Commission. We should handle data not as a whole, but segment it. There is personal data, there is sensitive data, there is confidential data. All this data should not be handled the same way. Personal data should be anonymized. That's what we call data anonymization. I should not be able to point out a personal data in a report. And if you don't have a data culture ethic, you can't reduce risk or improve your compliance because you don't know how to handle personal data. You don't know how to handle sensitive data. You don't know how to handle confidential data. Now, next one, data enables data-driven decisions and not gut feelings. I have a simple story for this. If you ask a sales manager now that, hey, good afternoon, where is our biggest sales coming from? He will tell you from experience, let's say Lagos, if you are actually a data-driven enterprise, your sales manager should not just tell you from experience it is Lagos. You should back it with evidence, like, okay, based on this chart, based on this trend, based on this report, Lagos shows that it has our biggest sales. No, experience cannot be bought. I'm not doubting that. Yes, you cannot be right by using your experience as a yardstick, but data shows evidence. Data shows trust. If you tell me by experience it is Lagos, I might still doubt you that, why are you telling me Lagos? Why can't it be Ogun State? But when you bring out a report showing me that, oh, this is why Lagos is the best selling state for us, then I will be sure that, okay, yes, we can move forward with that. Next, it unlocks hidden value from existing data sets. I once worked, or I was consulting for a micro lending company one time, and I asked them a simple question. I said, how do you know the user that will return the loan you gave to him or her? And the operations manager simply told me the person with the best account statement. I was like, no, no, no. You might have the right data sets, but you are not making the most use of it. There's a financial credit analysis that you can use to check who is more likely to return a loan and who is not likely to return a loan. So now you have a perfect data set that could work for you, but you don't know how to maximize value from your data set. This makes data culture not valid, because we have data and we can't use it. So how can we say data culture is embedded in our organization? Then the next one is encourages cross-functional collaboration and transparency. If HR can see that operation uses data, then HR will be more interested in their data culture. Okay, or let's put it like this now. You have someone that doesn't work with data at all. Let's take a social media handler, for example, and we are trying to push forward a campaign. And we are like, what hashtags do you think suits this campaign the best? And she goes on Twitter and LinkedIn and just search random or the best performing hashtags. But why not check our own users? The random or the generic hashtags might not work with our kind of user. Why not tell her that, oh, since we have the social media handles of our users, why not check or use all these web spoken apps to check the hashtags they relate with the most, then fish them out and use that hashtag to send campaigns out. In this way, we have used data to maximize our reach when running out, let's say, social media campaigns or social media strategies. So now, why does data culture matters is it gives you more with less. It reduces your risk and your it improves your data compliance, sorry, and your data decision making is faster, because number one, number don't lie. So when numbers don't lie, then you don't make impulsive decisions. They don't say, when are we doing this? And you just think of like, we are doing. No, you have to show us evidence. It is evidence-based, data-driven, data-centric. You have to show us why we are moving this way. You have to show us, okay, if we do this, this is what we get. This data is ready. This data is complete. This data is accessible. This data is timely. So okay, there's no reason for doubt. Now let's use this data to make a data strategy. So data pushes your reach and helps you with operational efficiency, if I may say. Then common barriers to data culture. siloed data and ownership. Let's start with siloed data. Siloed data simply means there is no single source of truth. Finance has finance data, sales have sales data, operation have operations data, HR has, there's no enterprise data. So data is being owned by different people and they are how I put it, they are transcribed in different ways. For example, if I go to a company working with a siloed data and I ask HR that, HR, what does sales mean? HR might tell me sales mean when someone buys something. Accepted, is right. And I go to accounting department, like, account, what does sales mean? An account tells me when a sales invoice is generated. And I ask sales, what does sales mean? Sales tell me when a user or a customer pays for a particular product. Now I've gone to 3 different departments and I have 3 different definitions for sales alone. That means a single data domain is owned by 3 different departments, which is not meant to be so. Each data domain should be owned by the data owner, which is, okay, who is owning sales? Okay, it's for sales department. Now, sales, define what you know as sales for us. Then we'll know that, okay, this is what sales mean in the whole organization, not sales means something for HR, sales means something for finance, sales means another thing for the sales department itself. Then next one is lack of data literacy and training. Most people feel because we can generate data reports, we can build data on Power BI, we can do Excel, that is a data culture. No, those are tools that helps us with data culture. But data culture is in itself is not the tools. Data culture is in the humans itself. How do your people deal with data? Did they know how to retain data? Is data accessible to everyone? Is our data secured? What are our transformation rules from this data to another data? Most companies don't even train people on how to handle their data. Because if you work in a pharmaceutical company now, that is a place where data is very, very sensitive. And those are people that spend more money on data governance courses for their staff because it leads to paying huge fines if you don't manage data properly. So if you don't train your staff on how data needs to be used, how data needs to be trusted, what trusted data can do for you, then data culture won't work. Inconsistent governance and definitions. Like I said, we are not watching over our data. We just allow data flow. I need this report from you. Yes, I will send it to you soon. And that is not how we should work. If you ask me, I need this report for you soon, I should be able to check, should you have access to this report? Is this report meant for you? There should be access controls when asking for data that is not pertaining to you, data you did not generate. I'm not a data steward, so you should not ask, you should not have 100% request on any data. So when you get any data, you should be documented that, oh, on this day, this particular person from this department requested from this for this data set, and it was signed by this CDO, which is a chief data officer. That should be the person in charge of overseeing data. And like I always say, logic alone does not lead to adoption. Because you are telling me that data governance is nice, doesn't mean I am going to be data centric. No, I have to, the person advising me has to govern me to make sure I work towards data culture. The next is poor data quality and trust issues. Now, this is, I would say, one of the most key barriers in data culture, because Poor data quality leads to poor decisions. Like like they say, garbage in, garbage out. You can't have a data that is not of quality, that is not fit for business purpose, and you expect it to drive great or excellent strategies. It won't work. You cannot have a data that's not complete and you tell me this data is not complete. Let me give you an example. We had a report for a company coming, and when the report was being showed us, we saw null 30%, and we asked, why is there null in this report? And the person presenting told us that it was not filled. But that is loss of data, because the number one rule of data quality is all data fields must be complete, regardless of it being validated. Something, it must be complete. So if you are telling me 30% of our data is not complete, how should we work when 30% of our data is not complete? And this brings trust issues. You can't tell me our data is not of quality and trust me to work with it. If HR knows sales data is not trustworthy, they won't use it. That is what causes siloed data. Then HR will be like, no, let's create our own data for this thing. And it's not meant to be so. We should have a single source of truth, a master data where you can, okay, check and confirm, okay, yes, this data is right, this data is complete. This is the threshold we have for data quality. If 80% of our data is not complete, we can't move on with it. Our data should be timely. Our data should be validated. Resistance to change. Change will a new a new endeavor will always cause friction. It's just basic economics. Because when you tell people that are, oh, we're having a data governance team now, they'll be like, why do we need a data governance team? We've been doing this XYZ way for over 6 years. We've been working well. Why do you want it to do it ABC way? But it is not their fault for acting in such manner, because it is what humans do. What we don't like or what we are not used to, we resist it. So resistance to change should be always needed. I think it's something you need in order to push a good data culture. Because if there are no resistance to the data culture, that means the data culture is not meant to work. Yeah, so can you guys hear me before I continue?
Yes, we can hear you clearly, Mubarak.
Okay. Is there any questions before I?
So if they have questions, they'll put them in the chat box, or you can
Okay.
continue. Yeah. So if anyone has any question, please send it to the chat box, and Mubarak will be, happy to take them.
5 pillars of strong data culture. Leadership buy-in. Data culture, or let me say data management, won't work if the top leadership of the organization does not buy into it. For example, now, leaders of an organization basically work with economics. Let me put it like that. There is something they've been working with for a long period of time at a particular cost, and it is yielding a good amount of results. If they are not making results from it, they won't work with it. Now, you coming in telling them, yes, we want to try data culture, we want to bring in data governance, we want to have data literacy training, they will be like, this new stuff you are bringing to us is going to cost us more. What are we gaining from it? So you have to explain to the leader that, okay, this is what we will do when we have a good, strong data culture in this enterprise. It will lead to this, and this. You will get So it is over the rows, and you can't show a CEO that these are the rows and columns. No, the CEO does not want to see your database. What the CEO wants to see is the numbers. How much, what is the value I'm going to gain from embedding data culture into this organization? And once the leaders buy in to your data culture, I can assure you, your data cultures program is on the path to success. The next is data literacy. Data literacy now comes down to the management level and analyst level staffs. These are the people that understand the business. These are the people that understand how data works in this business. Is this business data centric or not? Because there are two different types of data culture companies. We have the key data supporters and key data components. Let's say a company like Netflix. Netflix is a key data supporter because data supports all they do around Netflix. But when it comes to, let's say, a manufacturing company, you just need data to push in or push out strategies. Then data governance, that means clear policies. We have to assign data stewards. Who are the data owners? Who is responsible for this data? What are the data quality management frameworks we have? What kind of data governance council are we going to set in? Are we going to do a federated kind of data governance? That is for data governance. Then accessibility and tools. That's when data comes to timeliness. If we have, let's say today is the last day of the month, and we've done a report for the end of the month already. If we need another report by Friday, we should not clean data just to report on Friday again. The data we have today should be quality and should be of much quality to work for Friday. Your data should be readily available at all times. That is why data quality starts at data entry. Data should be entered by only data stewards, not just random people. That's where the data literacy comes in. Not everyone should enter data. Data should be entered by people who understand the domain in which the data is being used for. Let data stewards who understand the data enter the data. They know how to validate, how to check if the data is complete. So that comes with accessibility and tools. Then use the right tools like Purview, Colibra, Atacama. Those are just tools. Because I've seen a company run a much better data culture on using only Excel and Power BI. They didn't opt for any new tools or any new quality systems. No, they just ran it on basically Excel and Power BI. And I can assure you they have a very structured data culture than most top organizations I've consulted for. Then trust and quality, as I always said, data quality leads to better trust. If your data is not of high quality, it won't be trusted. And data has to be documented at all times. Your data has to be well defined. The owners has to be explicitly stated who is the data custodian, and so on and so forth. Data quality issues, how will we remediate our data quality issues, which data is sensitive, data classifications. So with trust, and once your data is trustworthy enough and of high quality, there won't be need for regulatory fines, because you've taken into consideration data handling techniques. Your data is transparent, your data is respectable, your data is fair. You don't use, because this fairness comes in AI, because you cannot just tweak data to work for your own selfish interest alone. Data must be used fairly across all boards. Then framework. to build a data culture. Number one, assess the current state. Now, assessing the current state, there's a particular technique being used, which is called the data maturity model. You have to understand if your organization, what maturity level are they at currently? Are they just starting, like she said? Is it non-existent? Are they just emerging? Then you have to, do the analysis back and forth to check your current state. Then set a clear data vision aligned with business goals. Because one, if your data vision does not align with your business goals, it can't work, because data is not all size fits all. It has to be tailored for each enterprise, because you cannot bring a data culture that is working in TikTok and you believe it should work with Instagram. No, they can't work. So it has to be tailored for each enterprise, each department, so everybody knows, okay, these are the business goals we are working with, and this is the data, this is the vision, this is how we want it to go. Identify champions to form a data council. This is a very, very important part, because these champions sometimes are mostly called change champions, because when you bring in a new system into an organization, you will fight with friction, you will fight with people not consenting to it. There was a time we were consulting for a company in Egypt or the Middle East, if I may say. Then they said, this is the data governance department that you are going to work with. For like 4 weeks or close to 6 weeks, we couldn't have any headway. Interviews were just going from left to right, right to left. Then we noticed there was just one guy always filling the forms, joining the meetings. Then we had to ask the guy that, why is it this way that no one wants to give us information that we need? And it was like, in this part of the company, they work with culture. Like, we have to go in from the top. That means we have to go to the manager. Then he will now give out delegations. Then people will work with it. Then we went to meet the manager. We spoke to him that, okay, like, that was expecting us to come, but we didn't. So that was a problem we had to deal with, because we did not identify people that could champion the new system. So when we met him, he gave us the data stewards. Then we said, okay, we formed a data governance council for them. And then, because it was data governance council, the man said it won't work, because they will feel we are policing them around. Now, if we did not identify that man as a change champion, we would not have gotten this. Then we now have to change the name of the department to data enablement department. So enabling data. Then from there, we had all we need. Then launch training and literacy programs. Like, this is like the best thing you can do. You have to train and retrain people, because every day we have new rules, new regulations. Someone you trained on just using historical data and transactional data. Now, with the commencement or the big boom of AI, you have to teach the person how to be conversant with AI governance, how AI works, how LLM works. So you can't just feel that maybe this guy did data governance training or data culture training 2 years ago, is good to go. No, we have to keep training, retraining, send out newsletters, send out emails, host monthly meetings just to check how are we doing with our data. Is our data trustworthy? Are we making decisions based on data and not gut feelings? How are we handling our new data? Stuff like that. Incentivize data sharing and usage. Why it is good to share data? There is a twist to it, because there is data access and there is data privacy. Data access is telling us everybody should have access to data. Data privacy is telling us no, not everyone should have access to data. So that is where access controls come in. Give access to whom access is due. Do a basic chart. Who is responsible for this data? Who is accessible to this data? Who informs this data? Do a basic chart. Check who needs to have access to what part of data and who doesn't. Monitor progress and evolve practices. Yes, you monitor your progress with how many data issues do we have? What are the recurring data issues? How many data breaches do we have? Do we have any data regulation issues? So that's how you monitor your progress. How are we handling data now? Is our data more complete? Is our data timely? Is our data valid? So with that, you monitor your data. You have data scorecards to see the thresholds of your data quality. Then roles of governance and tools. Like I always say, humans is the key to data culture. Tools don't build culture, people and processes do. Colibra, Purview, BI, they are tools to support transparency, access controls, visibility. How are we seeing data? Because best thing about data should be storytelling. If you can tell the right story with data, then your strategy works. Your data decision making is easier because storytelling is the best way to buy people into your idea, your strategies, let investors know what is going on. Integrating tools with business workflows that embed use of data in daily work. If, or let me say, when you are bringing new tools, if your data quality is not at the right spot, or your employees are not being trained on data culture, tools will just be adamant. We'll just migrate data from this database to this database, and still there will not be any vital progress. So integrating tools that should help them in building their data culture should be the best. Then embedding data culture and best practices. You have to first celebrate your wins. Then how do you celebrate your wins? Monthly meetings. You bring out your change champions, people who have been championing change, who have been championing data culture, to speak. When staffs, or let's say when employees of an enterprise see their people speaking on change, they will buy into it. They're like, this is my guy now. We share the same desk. Why is he doing this thing X, Y way and I'm doing it A, B way? If you can do it X, Y way and it works well, so why not me doing it X, Y way? Use storytelling with data. Embed data KPIs into performance reviews. What does that mean? What are our data issues? What are the recurring data issues? Is our data set complete? The strategies we pushed with this data, what is the reach? What did we make from this? What did we make out of this data? What is the new thing this data is teaching us? That creates cross-functional data communities. Data should not be an IT thing. They're like, IT get data. No, that should not work. IT should not have data. Data is an enterprise asset. It's something of economical value. Everybody should work with data. There should be someone from legal in your data council, data governance council. Someone from sales should be in your data governance council. Someone for even your security personnel should be in your data governance council. Because this is someone who understands the business flow, how data works in your company. As long as you know how data works in the company, you should be in the data community. Those who understand the link between data and business are the most important part of these cross-functional data communities. People who understand the data operations should join this community, and this helps push the community further, because you have a personnel from each department. That means data culture is being embedded in each department. There are champions of data in each department. And as we all know, data culture is not a destination, it's a journey, it's a marathon, not a sprint. Because we have to keep revolving. The use of data these days comes with huge and huge fines and crazy regulations. So you have to keep evolving with the regulations, the compliance, and everything like that. Then, summary: data culture turns information into impact. Your data should push reports, which all data, we should be seeing the influence of data in our reports, the influence of data in our dashboard. We should not just see a different data in reports and in different direction in dashboard on strategies. It should be visible that, okay, this is what we did with this data. That is why we are making this decision. That's why we are moving with this strategy. This is the insights we have from our data. It requires leadership. As I said, your top leaders have to buy in, they have to support. Because if you don't have the right budget and resources to push data culture, I'm sorry, it won't work. Once the employees on the manager level and the analyst level knows the top leaders are not buying into this new program, they won't work with it because they'll see it as being useless. Since the top stakeholders are not interested, then why should they be interested? Everyone has a role, from IT to finance to HR. Like I said, every business unit should be encouraged to be data centric. Data is an enterprise issue. It's not just, and this is HR data, this is finance data. No, 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 no. It's not done that way. Data should be pushed to everyone. IT should be able to tell finance that, yes, I am using your data. Because why can't IT use finance data if we are in the same organization? So IT should be able, finance should be able to tell IT that, okay, for you to be able to use my data, you have to transform it this way. Data has been anonymized, because when it comes to finance, personal data is not involved. IT might need personal data to create strategies linked to tailor to each user. But finance will tell IT that no, data is being anonymized here. You can't identify each and every customer. But if you transform data this way, you can get the each user. So that is how it should work. Everybody should be open to use data. HR should not be waiting for 4 days for IT to upload data for them to use. That is wrong. HR should be able to go into their database and use the data, since there's a master data which they can work with. So HR should not be scared to use data that has been uploaded a month ago, because it trusts IT to have done its due diligence when collecting the data. And the strong data culture drives trust, agility, and innovation, as we've seen from this previous slide. Netflix started adopting data-driven strategies, I think 2021 or so, and they've seen crazy boost in their value. Crazy. It was one of the reasons why House of Cards and some other series had to stay longer on Netflix, because they started pushing data-driven strategy. They started using data to make more and more decision making. And data pushes innovation. That is worldwide a sentence. Like I say, for you to have innovation, you need vision. And for you to need vision, for you to get your vision right, you have to have the right data to push such innovation. And I think that is the end.
Wow. Hi, Mubarak.
Hello.
Wow, wow, wow. That's all I can say. Wow. This was power packed, right? Please, if you have any questions for Mubarak, you can just raise up your hand or let's use the chat. Wow. So Tayo mentioned that this session is really insightful on the chat box, right? to see how much really this has been an amazing session, right? So if you have any questions for Mubarak, please, okay, all right. I'm seeing some chats. Wow. Yusuf said that this is very, very elaborate and well broken down. Wow, thank you so much, Mubarak. Thank you so much. This is beautiful. I'm glad. Okay. So Akim has a question. He said that how do you measure the success of data culture initiative? How do you measure the success of a data culture initiative? Did you get that, please, Mubarak?
Yes, yes. How can you hear me?
Yeah, I think you should drop off from one of your devices. I think two devices are connected. That's why. So you cannot drop off from one and the other one will stay. All right. Thank you. But I can't hear you. You're muted on this device. Please unmute. Thank you. Great. Yeah, can hear you clearly.
Yeah, please, can I have the question again?
So Akim says that how do you measure the success of a data culture initiative?
Okay. Thank you, Akim. I see you are following. Now, measuring data culture is very easy. How is our data? The first thing is, how is our data being handled? Can a junior analyst in finance department identify which data is personal, which data is sensitive, which data is confidential? The finance department, in their reports, is the data complete? Is the data valid? Is the data timely? Is the data trustworthy? Once you have little growth to stuffs like this, you should know that, okay, yes, these people are understanding and living data culture. How many data regulation fines do we have? What are our data issues? Since we started embedding data culture, what are the recurring issues we have? Are we still having the issues when we did not have a data culture? So with these few questions, you will see that, okay, we are making progress or we are not. It's more of a behavioral question. How is it done? Is this data being handled properly? Is this data being accessed by everyone? Is data accessible to everyone? Can we trace data from source to storage? What is our this data pipeline like? So if we can have a structured part of data, I'll be like, okay, this is our data steward, this is who is handling data privacy. These are so like that. We're like, okay, yes, everybody is up to work with data culture. Data culture is in us. We don't just open our laptop and that's going to be like, okay, yes, this is how we handle. No, by default, we are data centric. Yeah, so if I answer your question, Akim.
Thank you so much. Akim, please, you can put it in the chat box if Mubarak answered you. Right? Thank you. So Mubarak, we have another question. Wow. This is an insightful webinar. Like, right? I'm glad that we have questions. It means that the session was a beautiful one and we actually understand. So Nilis is asking that what do you mean by data maturity model? And Akim mentioned that you answered him correctly and well. So what do you mean by data maturity model?
Okay, let me break it into, let's say you work for a startup here. A startup doesn't start with data because they need to show investors numbers. If you come into a startup, the data maturity level at that startup is 0. Because one, they don't care if the data is complete or not. They don't care if the data is valid or not. They just push data out. Our own is once we hit 10,000 users, we are good to go. Once we use 20,000 users. So at that way, data maturity is non-existent. Now, the first level of data maturity is data storage. People who only care about how we store data. Yes, we are using Azure, we are using Excel. So that's another maturity level. They only care about data storage. Then the next one is those who care about data entry. So that is the data entry stage. People who care that only the right data has to come in. There's an ingestion channel for how data moves from entry to storage. And the next one is people who use data to drive decisions. So this is a stage where you'll be like, okay, yes, our data is structured properly. Data can be used to drive insights, strategies, make decisions, drive campaigns. So those are the 4 different maturity levels of data.
Thank you so much, Mubarak. Needless, please let's know if Mubarak answered you clearly, and if you have any more questions. Wow, wow, wow. Okay, I don't think we have any more questions, but this was an insightful session. And Mubarak, I am really grateful that we get to do this together, right? Thank you for agreeing to collaborate with us. Thank
Thank you.
you. Needless says that, thank you very much. Well understood. Thank you for collaborating, and thank you for sharing your wealth of knowledge to all of us on the call. I learned a lot. And one major thing that's echoing in my head is data is for everyone. Finance, HR, see, even to the security guard. Thank you. And that will bring me to a post I saw. I think it was on LinkedIn, where someone had mentioned that she wanted to enter a bank, but she was on a wheelchair. And so because she was on a wheelchair, she was denied entry, right? And then someone had mentioned, I was checking the comment section, and someone had mentioned to say, if this person knows, some if the CSO understands that there is data, actually governing even this act, there is a law governing this act, all of these things are just data, to understand that, oh, I can make room for this person would actually get, be able to enter into the bank. Just everybody understanding what they're supposed to do, what they're supposed to do with data. What that data can just be anything. Say a document to say, oh, people with disabilities can, enter the bank via this route. But because there's nothing like that, it deprives that person of entering into the bank. And the person can decide to file a lawsuit, right? And she
Yeah.
would be correct to doing that because somebody does not understand the data that is guarding what he or she is doing. So thank you so much. I've really come to understand that data is an important concept, and we need to be literate. We need to put in that culture in our organization. And thank you so much, Mubarak, for the wonderful session. Thank you to all our amazing attendees. I can see people clapping. Oh my god. Thank you to all our amazing attendees for doing this with us. We're going to rate today's webinar session before we close out. We want Mubarak leaving a feeling like, oh, he has done an amazing work. So how would you rate today's webinar? I already set up the poll. Okay, 3 people already voted 5-star. Oh my god. Okay, all right. Thank you so much. We are happy people. Oh my god, everybody is voting a 5-star. Mubarak, I hope you can see the poll. I'm going to publish it. Don't worry. Oh wow, thank you so much, Mubarak. Wow. This is beautiful. Thank you for making us have an amazing time. And when Mubarak was talking, he spoke around, ensuring that your staff, they are data literate, the data culture, you can bring on trainings to ensure that they are up to date. And at Techitics, that's what we do, right? You can have a conversation with us to say, okay, we've learned that data culture is important. How can you help us train our organization on this skill, Excel, Power BI, anything, just to ensure that we are really, really data literate, and we're breathing that data culture, right? We have a lot of programs that we have on board for you. If you're interested, you can just send a mail. I'm going to drop the mail on the chat box. Send me a mail and let's have a conversation around it. And of course, for everybody on the call, we'll ensure to send out mails when we have new courses that we think that your organizations can benefit from, and that you can also be on the lookout at our social media page. Just send a message, send that email, and while here, we're ready to pick it up from here to ensure that your organization is data literate, to ensure that you are doing all the things that you're supposed to do. I'm also posting our website. That's Africa. Please check us out. Check out the courses we can offer. And this recording is going to be sent to you, and it's also going to be on our YouTube page, also at Techlitics. Check it out. And in case you want to watch it again, you want to listen about it again, please let us know. Yeah, thank you so much, everyone. Please enjoy the rest of your evening. Good night, everyone. Thank you so much, Mubarak. Good night. Yeah, bye.